I picked out a random item to talk about. This random item, I'm gonna grab it. Take a huge guess what this is. Then I'm gonna make a video. I'm making a video about it. If you guys guess Aquabot power supply, you're correct. This is a vintage 1980s Aquabot cleaner box. This thing is from probably the 50s or the 70s or the 60s. Very made out of really good metal too. Here's what it says. You can pause it to read it. This thing is vintagey and it surprisingly works too. Surprisingly, this thing still even works. There's the on and off. Here's your fuse. If you need to repair your fuse or do stuff to it. But I'm not gonna plug it in. I'm not gonna plug it in yet. I got this, actually we're gonna talk about it today. This pool robot box thing, got this from my crawl space or attic. It surprisingly works. I had to unplug my phone charger and my phone's only probably 70-something%, means it can suffer a few minutes. I unplugged it. We'll plug this in to make sure it works. I'm not just lying. It works like there's no tomorrow. Here's it. See that light? Means this surprisingly still works. We're gonna talk about it right now because I just want to talk about it. You know, I like to talk about stuff on this channel. This is vintage, first of all. This is like an antique and it works like there's no tomorrow. There's a fuse. I have nothing to say. This thing even works. It's not that it's kind of heavy. It's older than that thingy. I don't have a machine to operate this on. I think I'm gonna operate this with something different. Now, I'm operating this for a different machine and come across something. That was just a quick little video about it. But it's gonna be a little long video. Now we're gonna talk about it. This is probably from the mid 80s or 2000s, like the 80s or 90s. This was part of a Aquabot Express. Aquabot does not make the Express anymore. That was from the 80s. And has its little fuse and it has its nice blue color, kind of like sun faded metal. This thing is not that heavy. There's only on the back the 3-prong plug. How these work? These transfer because there's a little motor in there. Newer machines have fancier buttons, other stuff. This is from back in the day, like the 1980s when stuff was cheap. It was probably like $1,000 for this, or probably like 900. That was the price range back in the day. You had like a diaper or a filter bag. They didn't have cartridges. Now a lot of pool cleaners out these days use cartridges. Yup. That's probably gonna be it about this vintage Aquabot power supply. Well, I'm gonna go talk a little bit more about it before I get off. Before I upload. This is vintage, not antique. This is probably like 30 or 20 years old, or like maybe like 70 years old. I don't even know how old this is. Maybe here. If you wanna see like what's always on there. Power supply. These don't use a lot of electricity. These use less electricity. This is antique or vintage. This has like a rubber or like a nice little plastic handle that comes out. The pool cleaner does climb the walls. This thing is not that heavy. Like this thing's lightweight. Like that's gonna be about the vintage Aquabot power cleaner supply.